Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my math channel. This is your coach, Mr. Magno. And we're looking now at interpret. The objective is to interpret. That means we have to interpret these um, kinds of expressions now. We have to interpret it into a language that we understand, which is write it as a numerical expression. And our next thing is going to be to evaluate. That means solve it. All right, let's begin with the first one. So the first one says, let me select a red color here. So that's going to be ballpoint. Twice the sum of 3/5 and 1/1/2. Okay, let me write that expression. So it says that 2 times the sum of 3/5 plus 1 and 1/2. That's it. That's how you write it down. Now we're going to evaluate this expression. So we're just going to follow what it says. And remember that we always have to do the parentheses first. And as you can see, the parentheses has fractions, and the fractions are what you call they have what we call opposite. The denominators are alike. Okay, so when that happens, if you recall the lessons about fractions, the denominators multiply each other, which is the 5 is going to multiply by the opposite denominator, and the numerator goes to the same fate, and the 2 is multiplied by the opposite denominator, and the 1 is multiplied by the opposite denominator. Once we have that settled, then we start doing some of the mathematics. So we're going to rewrite the 2, because remember that 2 it's outside the parentheses. We're just going to rewrite this 2 is a lot clearer. So we are going to rewrite it 3 times 2 over 5 times 2. And we have plus, let me see, I think that plus is going to be 1, the 1 next to them, and then 1 times 5 and 2 times 5. Okay, and we close that. Now we're gonna solve it, and we're gonna rewrite the 2, and we're going to write the fraction for this particular problem on the top. Let me write it down. 3 times 2 equals 6. 5 times 2 equals 10 plus 1. 1 times 5 equals 5, and 2 times 5 equals 10. Now we can add all together. So this is going to be equal to 2. 6 plus 1 equals 11. Well, let's write the 1. The 1 whole is 1 whole plus 0 wholes equals 1. And 5 plus 6 equals 11. And the denominator is the same. Now we have to multiply that by the 2. So we're going to create two fractions, right? 2 multiplications. 2 times 1 plus 2 times 11/10. You see that? Okay, let's go to the next step and let's solve this. So it's going to be 2 times 1 equals 2 plus, we know that 2 times the 1 has the 2 has the 1 as a denominator. So 2 times 11 equals 22, and 1 times 10 equals 10. And when we do the math for these two problems, I'm just going to scoot over this way a little bit. It's going to be 2 plus, because 22 can be divided by 10. That 10 goes into the 22 2 times. 2 times 10 equals 20, and the remainder is 2. So do you recall these symbols? The answer for this is 2 wholes and 2/10. And when you add the 2 wholes, that becomes 4. And the 2/10 can be written also as 1/5. No, my mistake. It can be divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 equals 1, and 10 divided by 2 equals 5. And this is the evaluation for that particular problem. Okay? Watch the video again and pay attention to the steps. Signing out, your coach. I'll get back to the other ones in a moment.